When it comes to couples, if one person isn't doing well, it affects the whole relationship. So as our next guest will say, it's important to be our best selves together. Tara and EJ Kerwin from He Said, She Said Counseling join me once again to discuss. It's wonderful to have you both on.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Alex. Great to be back.
So when I say, being our best selves together, and that's the advice you're giving to couples, what does that really mean?
Well, when we get together with our partner, we make a lot of commitments, and we also don't know a lot about what, being together in the long term is going to be like. And, as humans, we're developing and we're facing challenges. And when we get together with our partner, what we believe is we want to make the agreement that we are supporting each other, that when there's the ups and downs that are personal and relational, that we together support each other in growing, in becoming our best selves.
Throughout the lifespan.
Yeah, throughout the lifespan.
Well, I'm sure you'll agree there's no bad time or perfect time to start working on your relationship, but the new year is a common time to do that because it's kind of a fresh start. There's that whole feeling of new year, new me. So what suggestions do you have for couples here at the beginning of the new year?
Well, absolutely. For us, in our relationship, it wasn't even about a resolution. It was an intention to really support each other, to be our best selves this year so we can feel empowered at an individual level and as a couple.
Yeah, and I think I just like sitting down here at the beginning of the year and looking at, hey, what are the challenges and what are the things we want to do together in this next year? And really setting the intention of like, okay, how do we stay connected in those personal goals, in those relationship goals?
I think a lot of couples feel stuck, especially after 2020, just from, daily life stress. And what we know, kind of our motto in our counseling practice is our partner can be our greatest teacher. We just have to be patient for the lessons because this is a person that can see our blind spots. And so I know this seems counterintuitive, but actually growth comes from conflict. And if you're curious about the conflict, instead of kind of going into the blaming piece, that's where we can develop into our best selves together because we're allowing each other to see kind of that baggage that we bring along into the relationship. And that also happens, kind of builds throughout the relationship.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned, 2020 really was a difficult year. So you have to think the people who got into a relationship while all that was happening, it's still going on, but it's very different than regular life. So as we start transitioning back to normal times, those people that got together during a strange pandemic will have to face a whole new set of challenges as we get out of it. And so you mentioned, sitting down and just sort of opening the conversation. Sometimes it can be difficult to start the dialogue. So how do you recommend that couples begin the process of discovering what you have to work on together?
Well, I think, the first thing that we talk about here is making, routines and taking time to just talk about your relationship. Just like you check in at a weekly business meeting or with your kids about their homework, that your relationship, it's like a garden that it has to be cultivated and you have to make time to discuss it. And so just sitting down once in a while and being like, hey, what's going on for us this week? What's going on for us individually and what's going on for us as a couple, and making that a routine.
And the two kind of biggest, the ways I like to visualize it is it's like an adventure and a journey. And a lot of curiosity needs to come from that. And I know that when couples, get together in the beginning, curiosity is there and it feels like fun in this journey. But then a lot of couples, not all couples, get stuck, especially after having kids. Curiosity stops, adventure stops. Journey, what journey? I'm so overwhelmed, I feel trapped.
Just trying to survive.
And so it's going into those conversations with a sense of a renewed sense of curiosity, adventure, and our journey. How do we want to develop and grow for the for the next however many years, at least 60 for us, right?
Yeah, and cultivating that garden, like you're saying, will only help it to grow. There's seasons to relationships. It's getting through those together, that's really important in creating those mechanisms. Why is it so hard do you think? I mean, aside from the obvious, we live busy lives, but why is it so difficult sometimes for a couple to just take a moment and take stock of where they are with each other and individually?
Well, I mean, I think we just sort of get swept up into life, and we also begin to really take for granted, that our relationship is our foundation, and it's just going to kind of be there. And then couples sort of report eventually like, wow, it just feels like we're just kind of orbiting around each other. We're roommates. And then when that happens long enough and you're not emotionally connected, then they turn into adversaries, and then it doesn't feel like they're supporting each other. It feels like they're almost like like fighting each other.
And I mean, to go a little deeper, and I know we don't have long, but this person right here next to me is the person that is going to trigger a lot of my stuff. That's a lot unconscious, a lot from childhood, some from our relationship. And so when we start to trigger each, we don't know what that means. It's so easy to look at this person as, stop making me feel so bad. And why would we want to have some journey with this person that's making us feel bad and triggered? So it's helping couples understand that triggers are actually significant learning information, some things in my body that has not been processed. And this person is the one person to trigger a lot of it. But it's not easy.
Just one of the many lessons that couples can learn there with you. And before I let you go, just give us a summary of what else you do and how you help couples get through their challenges.
Well, we have a number of programs here at our center. We have a 8-week early in your relationship program.
Prevention.
Yeah, that's kind of preventing some of the problems that happen in the long term. We have a 12-week program called Relationship Renovation, which is really, for those who are having significant struggles. Yeah. And it really takes a look at like, hey, how did we get here? And how do we rebuild and create that bond that's sustainable? Yeah.
We have our weekly podcasts that come out. In a few months, we're actually going to be doing a relationship renovation at home product. So that'll be exciting. So yeah, we're trying to get it out there.
That's great. Lots of great tools for couples at every stage. Thank you both so much for joining me again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
You too. And if you'd like to learn more about how He Said, She Said Couples Counseling Center can help your relationship and in turn learn to be your best selves together, call 520-372-2672 or visit HeSaidSheSaidCounseling.com. And stay where you are. The Blend will be right back.